How did he explain the pasuk? V'ashchina acharecha narutza. What was the shaila in the pasuk? First of all,
Mashcheni is Lashon Yachid, Narutza Lashon Rabim.
yeah. So how did he explain it?
That through the Nefesh Elikis, bringing the Nefesh Hamis on board,
So the diak of mashcheni and narutza. Mashcheni means draw me. Narutza means we will run.
that's the Nefesh Elikis is drawing the Nefesh Hamis into the experience, and Nefesh Hamis now is running
And
after,
what?
and now
And
the Nefesh
narutza is
Hamis also is running after Elikus.
what? Again, I'm sorry.
Narutza is now Lashon Rabim together with the Nefesh Hamis.
But in addition to lashon rabim, there's another diak. Mashcheni means one thing. Narutza means something else entirely. You draw someone in, that's a gradual process. Narutza is with running, is with the gewalt.
That's because it's a Indian of bleak.
That's the result of B'chol Ma'itcha, the Nefesh Hamis, and therefore Lashon Rabim, and therefore it's Narutza. It's B'chol Ma'itcha. Whereas the Avodah of the Nefesh Leikis, the Chatchila, the Nefesh Hamis is B'Seidim B'Sudar.
So now brings a bleak vol aspect through that.
The Mashcheni, however, is what's the pasuk again? The central pasuk of the Maimer. It's in that paragraph. You can see it there.
B'Tselem?
Yeah, Nasa, no, it was
B'Tselem Yisalach Ish. B'Tselem referring to the Nefesh HaSichlis, and Yishalach meaning that's the halicha. That's we learned yesterday. That the neshama l'mayil is called stationary, not a goer. How does the neshama become a mahalach? But b'tzelem to the avodah of the nefesh hasichos being masbir, the ish, the chayda refers to either nefesh habamis or the nefesh halikis before the avodah of yishalach. The ish becomes a mahalach. And that's the kasha to b'chakosei teleichu. How so? How did he explain it? Huh? What's the kasha b'chakosei teleichu?
Because you're making a chikika in the Nefesh Bahamas.
Huh?
Chayk miloshen chikika, like an engraving.
You added much more to that.
Basically, that you're drawing in the Nefesh Bahamas to also be one with Elikus.
And the Indian of Telich
is the Amelim B'Torah. Rashi says b'chakosei teleichu. Amelim B'Torah. It's not enough in the Torah, but it's Amelim B'Torah. Yigia dafke.
Right.
And then Vayel Cheschem Kim, then Teleichu. That's again his halachish. That's the avodah of
Halich.
Givalde avodah, not the Meseder Mesudah, predictable, same old, same old. You know exactly what it's going to be tomorrow, next week, looking at him the way it is today. The fate is not that. He's a mahalach. He's shaykh to do radical and incredible things. Not he's shaykh, he does. And that was a diak. What's the diak of Kamamius?
The nefesh halikis and the nefesh habahamis.
Lashon Rabbi, right?
Base
Both,
Kaimis, yeah.
both of them. The nefesh halikis learns to walk with his head held high, be'emes, through the avodah and the passion of the nefesh habahamis. And that's the hemshef on Asati Gishmeicham B'itam. How did he explain Gishmeicham B'itam?
Well, that so with limud Torah, no?
Torah is called Geshem, meaning through the.
The real Yegia, then
He's
he'll
explaining Shayidei Hayegia B'limud Torah. Then Zeichim Legila Eira Blikvol.
no more.
He's not Meirech, but the Chayre means also the Eira Blikvol in Limud Torah. Okay, Mamshe B'Kosim are continuing now on these tests. The Nosno Haaretz Yevula, Shadibisha promises through this Avodah that the earth will give its yield. Veitzasod Yitin Piriyoi, and the trees of the field will give their fruit. What's the connection to this physical yield and fruit to the avodah we're describing now? I mean, elsewhere the kasha is not just on this; it's been also been a satik shmeichem b'yitam. But he said before, pashtus, that Geshem goes on Torah. So it's a ruchnisdik response. But how do we explain Eretz Yevula and Eitz Hasoda Yitin Period? Nachinyan Hodina Merazal Chazal say in Medrash, called Teildeis Shebemikra Chaseva. Wherever the word Teildeis appears in Tanakh, it's missing a vav, either one, two, or both. There's two vavs in Teildeis when it's written full. So it's either missing, again, one of them, the first, the second, or both of them. Bottom in train, with the exception of two cases. And that is Eilash Teilas Hashemayim V'Retz B'Yibara. So the Torah gives the summary of creation. So these are the chronicles of heaven and earth. When God created them in their creation, there the word Teldis is spelled full. Second exception is when it comes in the Sefer Rus, which you read on the Shavuos, the end of it, Ve'el the Teldis Peretz, and these are the children of Peretz, going all the way back to Yehuda, tracing all the way down to David HaMelech. Yishai and then David. Which is one of the reasons we read Megillas Rus on Shavuos, because it's David HaMelech's yahrzeit. The other reason is because, what's the other reason we read Megillas Rus on Shavuos? The main reason. This is the last pasuk. Boaz is from Yehuda, so he comes from Rus. What's the ikar reason we read Megillas Rus on Shavuos?
Because of the miracle that happened?
Sorry?
The miracle with Rus, the story of the miracle with the...
There's no miracle there.
That's a different, okay.
Why is this miracle Shachas to Shavuos? There's no nest there. There's no real miracle in the story. It's the story of a Gators. And that's Shavuos. Shavuos is the Gators of all of us. Of Bnei born from the gather of Bnei Noach halachically. Halachically, we're Bnei Noach till Matan Torah when we accepted Torah. In fact, how do we know the laws of Gators? There's nowhere in the Torah that says that if a guy wants to convert, this is how you do it. Where's the laws of Gators come from? The answer is it's the most elaborate halachas in the entire Torah. The whole description of Matan Torah. Mila, Kabbalah HaMitzvahs, Mikveh, Korban. It's in the Sefer Mishpatim, Parshas Mishpatim, the korbanos that were brought in connection with Matan Torah. Every ger will bring a korbanos when Mashiach comes. How is it that the gerus is not complete till now if they're missing the korban? The Rambam addresses that, but there's a Meredith Sikha on it. Because there's a look pashut at all. But at any rate, that's why we begin this main reason on Shavuos, because we all underwent halachic gerus, becoming bit from Bnei Noach to Bnei Yisroel in the halachic sense, the fuller sense. At any rate, so back to the Medrash. So these are the only two times that the word Telders, which means the story of existence, of life, is spelled fully, namely in the summation of creation, and then way later in the Chronicles, the offspring of Peretz. Why? Explains the Medrash. What's the reason, first of all, why the other Telders are all spelled deficiently with missing a Vav? 1, 2, or all of them. The Medrash answers, once Adam sinned, he lost 6 things. His stature, his lifespan, his height, his brilliance. And amongst them that were taken from him, reckons the Medrash as follows. And amongst them are the fruit of the tree, of the yield of the earth, and the fruit of the tree, namely that the earth would produce immediately, and there were no barren trees, all trees produce fruit. That was taken away. B'tchila, so therefore that's the meaning. The b'tchila nivra, the Medrash concludes, b'tchila nivra dvarma miliyosan. The outset, God created everything whole and complete. Olam al miloya nivra, the world was created whole. But given shechat Adam Harishon is calculable. When Adam Harishon sinned, so the world got ruined. When will the world be restored to its former glory and completeness, and even greater than that? Ve'ein chayzin l'tikuna not Chavivin ben Peretz, and they will not be restored, says the Medrash, and fixed until the son of Peretz, that's David, that's Mashiach, comes. Therefore, the word Toldos appears full at the beginning of creation and in reference to Mashiach. Now we'll answer our question. Therefore, what the pasuk is saying here, min b'chakoisai. V'nos nor hatzibur leveitas in period, and the earth will give its yield, and the tree of the field will give its fruit. It hints to the fact that the world will be fixed and full of all the lacks in the world. That'll be restored to its fullness like it was before the sin. It'll be, the world will be so perfect, it'll be manifest physically even in the fruit, the yield of the earth, and the fruit of the trees. The Rebbe seems to be giving a bracha here. It manifests b'gashmis, but he's also saying that this whole avodah culminates in Moishe Mashiach, in bringing Mashiach. And on this Chazal say, the Gemara says, Pesach didn't allow Tavua, or Batzeres al Peres Ha'ila. In Pesach, the world is judged with respect to the yield, the produce that's going to be in the year to come. And on Shavuos, the fruit of the tree. I'm not sure what he means, but l'chayre is talking about the whole avodah of Pesach and Shavuos b'pnimius, which we're talking about in this maamer, which results in the perfect world. L'chayre. And this is also the meaning of so he summarizes this and the perfect world Shagidei the matter. So through our avodah down here, Nasa b'chinas mahalech dafka neshama down here becomes the true goer b'chukayse teleichu. Again, the diak of being a goer as opposed to being stationary, notwithstanding the daily ascents. But dafka down here, that's the mile. But dafka down here is teleichu shemizgal esay gilei rablik. But down here, through the avodah and engagement, nefesh habahamis and so on, and b'chukayse the yigia b'torah. So this reveals that rablik v'lariu peil. So he affects. It's so true that there's no place void of him. And therefore, if you touch the true bligvol, then there's no limit to its expression. It'll affect even the physical world and be revealed in the physical world. And will manifest, therefore, even, seems to be the diak here, will manifest even physically in the perfection of the world. Begashmius. To the extent that it'll bring the world to its absolute and true perfection. It becomes the Eibishter's home. All of this is affected through B'chakosei Teleicha. He seems to be saying that the diak on the Gashmius Diker, brachas means that it's so true that it'll affect everything and nothing remains outside of the Hashem's revelation. Therefore, its creation becomes perfected and boundless. If it's not manifest by Gashmius, and it's not the Etzem yet. The Etzem has no limits. The Blikvol, true Blikvol, has no limits. And therefore, the measure, the yardstick, is if it's seen even in the Gashmius Ha'ila. It seems to be what he's saying. To me, appears to me what he's saying. So the world becomes a dira daika, and what's the meaning of a dira, a home? There's many other metaphors that could be used. Why a home? It becomes God's acquisition, becomes God. Any number of words would do. What's the diak, dira? What's the metaphor of dira? The answer is bedugmas dira sa'adam shabom is galam chalatzmosai. Home is the one place you are you. Good thing you know cameras in your house. When you go out of your home, you're engaged in an agenda. You're traveling, you're learning, you're davening, whatever you're doing, your business. You wear all kinds of hats. But when you're simply yourself and not engaged in a pursuit, in an agenda, that's your home. The home reflects not what you do. Home reflects who you are. So that's why the Chazal used dafka the lashon dira lo yizbarech, because the whole kavana is home, namely, hainu shenasa ba'olam giloi atzmo. So the Eibishter's essence is revealed as opposed to his creative production, which is his business. That's his talshalos. That's what he produces. That's his artwork, his handiwork, his business. But his home, he wants dafka lamata, where God can simply be God and express that unencumbered. And that's affected through what? The halavid that we're describing now. Zeo, Yud, Eis Yud. We'll learn this together. זהו גם כל עושים למתן תורה. And I think we'll stop here.